As ICT himself says, the unicorn model is the strongest algorithmic entry pattern you can have. This statement alone highlights how powerful and effective this model is. By using this model with a clear draw on liquidity, we can find it happening across all time frames. Yes, all time frames. In this video, I will explain what the unicorn model is and provide a step-by-step plan to identify it. Make sure to follow me on Instagram at Spektrades to stay in touch. Without further ado, let's get into this video. The unicorn model uses 3 ICT steps to make it more likely to succeed. First, a liquidity sweep, then a fair value gap, and a breaker block, all working together to form this powerful model. For a bullish unicorn, the last bullish candlestick equals our breaker. First, we will look for price to give us a liquidity sweep of the old low, and then a breakup structure of the high that did the liquidity sweep. And then we'll look for a fair value gap in alignment with our breaker block to now go and push price higher. This is the schematic for a bullish unicorn. For a bearish unicorn, first we'll look for a bearish breaker block. The last bearish candlestick will be our breaker block. Then price will give a liquidity sweep of the old high and give a breakup structure of the low that did the liquidity sweep. And we'll look for a fair value gap in alignment with that breaker block. This is our bearish unicorn model. The first step to use our unicorn model is, as price is moving, the first thing we'll look for is a liquidity sweep of old highs for a bullish unicorn and a liquidity sweep of old lows for a bearish unicorn. And for number 2, after our liquidity sweep, we'll be looking for our breaker block. For a bullish unicorn, it will be the last bullish candlestick before the liquidity sweep. For a bearish unicorn, it will be the last bearish candlestick before the liquidity sweep. Then for the third step is to look for a fair value gap that is in alignment with our breaker block as shown in the schematic. The breaker block, the fair value gap, will be in alignment with the breaker block. That's what makes this model so powerful. And then for the last step, we'll identify a clear draw on liquidity point for our target, such as old highs / old lows, or session highs / session lows, or previous day highs or previous day lows. And now let's hop on our charts and see this unicorn model live in action. If you are interested in more in-depth and personal help, make sure you check out the first link in the description for the Patreon, where we have our Spektrades Mastery Hub, where you can access private mentorship lessons from beginner to advanced mastery, and also live training with me every single morning, and also daily pre and post market analysis and exclusive community access. So if you are interested, make sure you check out the first link in the description for the Spektrades Mastery Hub. And now that we're on our charts, the first step to identify our unicorn model is to look for a liquidity sweep. For a bearish unicorn model, we have to look for a liquidity sweep of old highs. And for a bullish unicorn model, we have to look for a liquidity sweep of old lows. So as we can see here, price took liquidity for this old high, and then price gave us a breakup structure of the low that did the liquidity sweep. And now for our breaker block, and just like I stated, the last bearish candlestick for a bearish unicorn model is our breaker block. And now we have to look for a fair value gap that is in alignment with our breaker block. The next step is to look for a clear draw on liquidity where price may pull to. And just like we stated, old highs or old lows, or previous session highs or lows, or previous day highs or previous day lows will be our draw on liquidity. And as we can see here, we have this old low right here. This is perfect for our draw on liquidity. Now as you can see, price came back up, tapped inside of our fair value gap in alignment with our breaker block, and came and clear our draw on liquidity. And now you would ask, well, Spektrades, where would you place your stop loss? Our entry will be always at the low of the breaker, and our stop loss will be at our old high. And our draw on liquidity is our target. Price came back up, tapped inside of our fair value gap in alignment with our breaker to now target our draw on liquidity, our old low. Now let's look for another example. And now we're looking for a unicorn model in a bullish format. And the first thing we have to look for is our liquidity sweep. After our liquidity sweep, we will look for a breakup structure of the high that did the liquidity sweep. Now to identify our bullish breaker block in our bullish unicorn, the bullish breaker block will be the last bullish candlestick before the liquidity sweep. And the next step is to identify our fair value gap that is in alignment with our breaker block. And now to identify our draw on liquidity, we'll be using our old high. Now let's play price. Perfect. And as you guys can see, price came and tapped inside of our fair value gap in alignment with our breaker block, and then came and cleared our draw on liquidity. And where do we place our stop loss? We enter our trade right at the open of the breaker, our stop loss right at the old low, and I'll take profit right at the old high. Well, this is gonna be it for this video. I hope you guys got a lot out of this video. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you like, subscribe, and comment, and let me know what you think down below. This is it. Spektrades out.